Yo, this is Primat Ram, hanging out with Afu-Ra in his hotel room. What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's going on with y'all out there? He said it's your boy Afu-Ra right here in Munich, Germany. He's bigging up all the people, all the hip hop heads, all the followers, supporters. I love you. What's up? Watch out!
Alright. So you're playing Munich today at like Muffatcafé.
No doubt. Yeah, I look forward to the show. It's been a minute that I've been in Germany doing some live shows, so I really want to bring energy and let the people really get a vibe of me again, and yeah, just continuing, my career in music, being back in Munich, one of the top hip-hop cities in Germany, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, sir. So let's go back in time. It was like in 1994 when the worldwide hip-hop community recognized you, because you were like on Jerry's first LP, The Sunrise is in the East, with the track Mental Stamina.
No doubt,
and then 2 years later, Physical Stamina was the track you did with him for the second album, Breath of the Math. How did that feel, like, to get out there? I don't know for how many years you've been doing like hip-hop stuff. How was the feeling?
Well, I mean, that was the start of J. Rue's career, and for me to be rolling with J. Rue at that time and be on his records, be in the studio with him, yeah, it was a huge inspiration, and that work and that connection that I had with J. Rue and working with Gangstar Foundation. Shout out Guru, he's somewhere resting. I don't have to deal with the world anymore. I still walk and live with all of the memories and the things that I've learned from then to carry on myself now in the music business as well as in my personal life.
Yeah, it seemed to be a great time. Like when you started out, I just know like some videos from back in the days that just like when I was preparing for the J. Rue interview. Watch the video, like Gangster Foundation hanging out at the studio and just having fun and vibing on some beats, and I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, that whole era of time, the 90s era, working with J. Rue and my start of my musical career, it was an inspiration then, and it's still an inspiration to me now that I'm still doing it. I'm still as hungry, and it's still like... it feels like I'm a new artist as well as, even though, I got 4 albums out and done toured around the world, I still feel like, and I try and remember and approach all my shows and my new tracks, and when I go in the studio, like I am a new artist, and it comes with that type of feeling.
So when did you start rapping?
I mean, I've always been rapping. I was just rapping besides being on records. Hip-hop is very much a part of the fabric of the New York culture. And even now you got kids 6, 7, 4, even younger, because it's such a popular thing in the community. That is something that's very cool to do. It's a great way of communicating for yourself, through yourself, to other people. And that's how I got into hip-hop music. That's how I got into MC and rap and wanting to rap, because of the love of the culture, because of the love of the music. This type of art form is it's very unique and allows us to connect with each other.
Yeah, and it brings a lot of cultural aspects together, like from many different cultures, because it's worldwide, like things from the US, Africa, Southern America, Europe, Asia, especially when it comes to things you
most definitely like that aspect about hip hop. Of course, starting with music as a child, that's something that you don't know. Of course, going out and performing around the world and being on tour and in various different countries, it allowed me to see the magnetism of this type of art form. Unlike other art forms and different forms of expression, hip-hop definitely is a bridge between Americas to Canadians to Africans, like you mentioned, Europe. The whole world is immersed in hip-hop culture, and as I got a chance to go on stage and go on tour, it allowed me to see that, and that allowed me to approach my music and design my artistry in a way, knowing how big hip hop is and knowing how if I have a voice that many people around the world will hear, it allowed me to shape myself like, okay, not only people in New York are going to hear me, so I started writing my songs and doing my music with that in mind, you know?
That's cool, that's cool. I gotta talk about your first single,
No doubt, no doubt.
Whirlwind Through Cities, like a great track, a super dope sample. DJ Roach produced that track.
Exactly, shout out to DJ Roach.
Your lyrics, strong, no question. What inspired you to write that track, especially?
I mean, Whirlwind Through Cities was like, it was the beat, really. I still, you know, often I get ideas of songs or ideas to make a different flow. I'm gonna flow like this, and next track I got, but actually pretty much my musical selections, Primo chose that beat for me. Roach approached DJ Premier just as a producer, and then when Primo heard that beat, he knew that I needed that beat, so you know, somehow Primo connected the two of us. At that time I was signed to D&D Records. I didn't even have a deal, but I was always there. So yeah, Primo brought that beat to the table. I heard it, I loved it, and yeah, those lyrics just came out. I'm very self-inspired with all my songs and all my lyrics, but the beat itself, they genuinely helped me tailor what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, and the feeling of that beat made me feel like I was traveling, and that's why I titled it Whirlwind Through Cities. I came up with that first, like, yeah, Whirlwind Through Cities, and then I wrote the lyrics from there. It was kind of one of those songs that it didn't really have a chorus, but once I wrote the lyrics, we knew what the chorus should be, you know, and then I went in there and voiced that.
Nice one, nice one.
No doubt.
I heard it a million times and I will never stop listening to it.
Thank you. Big up Whirlwind Through Cities, yeah.
Again and again and again and again. So on the flip side of that record, we got Trilogy.
Trilogy of Terror.
Guru was on
crazy.
and Animal Stacks. It's a deep, slow jam with a Portishead sample. Who came up with the idea for the track, and have you been in the same room when you wrote it? How was the process? Yeah,
I mean, that track, Trilogy of Terror, I'm not going to say it's one of my best collabos, but definitely it was my first collabo besides working with J. Rue. It might have been like the second or third song that I recorded off the Body of the Life Force LP. Really, I'm one of those artists that I'm digging and the crazy. I'm not a DJ, but I listen to all types of music, and I was rocking the Portishead before people even knew who Portishead was, you know. People like RZA, I think he was listening. I come from that school, like before Wu-Tang was Wu-Tang. I was hanging with RZA, I was hanging with GZA, and I think RZA might have been working with some type of Portishead sample at one point, or maybe it was True Master, I don't remember. But from there I got into Portishead. I loved the female vocal on a lot of their music, mostly all of their music. And that particular track, I gave it to my boy Mike Rohn. He produced that track, and I was like, yo, you gotta sample this beat right here. I didn't even know what I was gonna do with it, but then when I got the track, and of course D&D Studio, excuse me, it was that studio where all the artists was working, and everybody from Fat Joe to Primo to Gangstar, J. Rue, Smif-n-Wessun, a lot of late great artists from the 90s era was all hanging out there. So once I had the beat and I was really just working on my single package, Hannibal Stacks, yeah, we go back since junior high school. Then it was like, okay, I wanted Stacks on there because I know how he would come lyrically. And Guru just happened to be in the studio. I think he was coming from a club or something. He heard the beat, and it was so sinister, that track, that he was like, yo, this beat is serious. And he getting beats from Primo. The producer who made the beat was like a student of Primo. So that Guru like was inspired So I was like, yo, you want to get on it? Yeah, we drank a couple of beers or whatever, maybe some Jack Daniels or something. Shout out to Guru, you know, God rest his soul. And yeah, we banged it out at D&D Studios, and it was like the trilogy, 3 MCs coming. It was like, you'll meet your fucking maker. Whew, it's just crazy, man. The righteous man of God. Yeah, that's right. I need to go back and listen to that, you know, tonight. Trilogy of Terror, Afu-Ra, Hannibal Stacks, Guru. It's in the files.
And 3 different styles and different voices, like Hannibal's going real hard.
That track is bananas, yeah. Really
and Portishead made one of the greatest live records, the one with the string and stuff. It's one of the best live records videos ever made.
The market right now, they don't even know about Portishead, but research them if y'all watch this. Portishead, yeah, they got classic volumes and volumes of music. I think groups like Coldplay actually kind of branched off from that level of band coming together, writing music together. Even Portishead, I mean, it's not Portishead, even Coldplay, I was listening to them. Then 4 years later, you got Justin Timberlake talking about he listening to Portishead. I'm like, dude, where have you been? You know what I mean? But yeah, shout out Portishead, one of the best groups ever. I put them in the realm.
Even sampled by 9 on the second album.
I put them in the realm of like Red Hot Chili Peppers and U2 and all of them guys like that.
Alright, cool. Year 2000, Body of the Life Force, your solo debut finally drops. You got big cats like Primo, DJ Mox, True Master, The Beat Mice producing. Like, how did you choose them? What was important to you?
Well, I mean, at that time, I didn't really have any structure, like making an album. At that time, like, from working with J. Rue, from being around Gangstar, like, just how, like, the gifts that I had lyrically was bigger than who I was as an artist, because I wasn't nobody but somebody just hanging around. But when I came lyrically with J. Rue, influential, scientifical power was like, you know, you already know what it is. The whole world, even myself, was like, nobody was rapping like that. So not even the man who was my mentor, J. Rue, he had his style. But when it came for me to get the beat, I'm going someplace else with that. And I always chose to be very inspirational with my lyrics, to try to raise people's brows, uplift people mentally. At that time, like I said, I didn't have no structure for the album, so I just took each track by track. Like I said, D&D Studios, that was my label, D&D Records. Everybody was there, so people like True Master, we grew up together. He's from my block. He was one of the first people I knew that was making hip-hop tracks before I even knew Primo. So, like, True Master is a master at the keyboard. He could sample, he could do a lot of things, but when it comes to like playing the keys, how he gonna sample a sample and then play it in the beat, he's very exquisite with that. So being at D&D, being around all these different artists, all the different producers, it wasn't that difficult to get music, get beats. All the people that I rhymed with on my album, I was fans of their music, so it's like, who I'm gonna collaborate with, people that I look up to, and that's what I did with that record. And it did make my records after that, it did make them a little more challenging, because that came to me like that. And then the next albums, okay, now I gotta work to produce a record. Nothing is coming to me like that anymore. But I still try to live by the mark that I made with that first record, Body of Life Force. And I look to someday put out Body of Life Force Part 2 for y'all, so y'all can see the elevation on where I'm going with that title, and to continue my legacy in music.
Alright, that's cool. Yeah, like, let's talk about 2 other collabos. Equality with one of Bob Marley's sons.
Woo, crazy.
Kimani. Where it's like trying to tell you, yo, Afu, slow down, don't rush.
Actually, you know, I never really even like conversated with Kimani on that. It was like,
have you been in the studio together?
Yeah, we recorded it together in the same studio, but it was like my people who who was my what do you call that? Not my executive producer. What's the person who works between the artist and the label? My A&R. My A&R, Neil Robinson. Holla at Neil Robinson. We did a lot of great work together. And that one track, he always was like, yo, I gotta get you with my dude Kimani. And I didn't even know about Kimani, who he was. He's like, yo, he's a Marley's son. He's also gonna be signed to G Street at that time. And he played me the Dear Dad record by Kimani. And I was like, wow, I was on this record for like about a good 6 weeks every day, that same track over and over and over again. But yeah, Primo made the beat. Kimani never heard. He just came in the studio, just ready to work. Him and his boy, he just came up. Kimani went to the corner and just came out with that slow down, don't rush. And I didn't have my lyrics yet. So once he did that, then I wrote my verses to fit with the chorus and the beat. That was my first track. Besides Defeat, that was like the second track I did where, you know, most artists, they might go through that. They hear their own music and they like, wow, like this is a hit for me. You know what I mean? It wasn't just a song. You know, I really felt it like wow, like, damn, this is it. This is what a hit feel. This is how Michael Jackson was feeling. This is how James Brown. That's the feeling I had, you know, and yeah, it felt like Bob Marley himself was right in the room with me. Shout out to Kimani Marley. He's still traveling. He's still working. Big him up in his movie Shatas. All his musical efforts. I look to link back up with him someday. Yeah, Kimani Marley.
Like the chief with him, his dad?
Not really. I mean, me and Kimani, we had more of a real nonchalant vibe. I think we was kind of vibing. Like we both was musicians. We had a mutual friend. He was a dread, I was a dread. We were signed to the same label. So it was more, yeah, it was more like he was, you know, I needed him. He lended me a hand to make a classic track, and we actually performed that track once together.
Only once?
Yeah, once together. We was in Paris. He had a big concert. And I happened to be in Paris at the same day, and I found out he invited me to the venue. We did the song live with his band. It was crazy. Yeah, I love Kimani for that exposure, for that experience, and giving me one of the best records that I ever made.
So, talking about being in the studio with other rappers, we was talking to Smif-n-Wessun like 2 months ago. The Indie Sound Clash was the track you did with them on your first record, and I think they're like, besides the serious lyrics they dropped, they are one of the funniest guys you can ever meet. I was hanging out with them because like they were also in the D&D family, D&D All-Star stuff and things like that. How was that?
Well, I mean, yeah, Smif-n-Wessun, well, they're the Cocoa Brothers now, but I know them as Smif-n-Wessun. We go back since high school. Yeah, before any of us was even artists, we was like, you know, just linked through a mutual friend. One of my boys, Kenneth Montgomery, yeah, he was linked tight with Tech and Steel, and you know, through that we got a relationship, just hanging out kind of after school, and then the whole music thing just kind of happened, and it was like, what, you doing music too? It was like the boot camp? What? I was like, this is before I was an artist, you know? But yeah, again, I had my first single out. My single was buzzing. People was loving it. I was getting a lot of positive feedback, so it came to the album. And, you know, I'm a big fan, a big lover of reggae music. My father's from Trinidad, so, you know, I got a lot of this in my blood. But I didn't really grow up hardcore with my father. But for some reason, I always was really attracted to reggae music. The Beatminers had a certain type of sound with their music. So I went to them. I didn't know what I was going to get. Both Evil D, Mr. Ward, they played me maybe like 15, 20 beats. Then Evil played that one with the Barrington Levy sample. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is before the Kimani record. And yeah, it was like, well, I gotta get Smif-n-Wessun on it because they had a whole rude boy reggae influence with the lyrics, but they didn't really have reggae beats. So I was like, if I put them on this track, yeah. So I invited them to the studio. They had their crew. I had my crew with me. And it was like one of the few sessions I had that was like a party in the studio. And yeah, it was just like, oh, somebody was talking in the background. I'm like, yo, come on the mic and say whatever you just said. They did their verses, I did my verse. The chorus, I bigged my boy Jadan because he had more of a reggae style than us. We are Americans, you know. My boy Jadan, he's from Guyana. He got a real reggae style. He been in a bunch of tunes, Soundboy Burial. Also got his project coming out, Black Hearted Scavenger. So yeah, we just put that record together one day. Nobody heard the beat. We all just went in the studio, wrote right there. And again, like, big up to Coco Bees, Jadan, the Beat Minus D&D Studios. Another classic record. Y'all gonna hear me perform it tonight. Slow down, say whoa, yeah. Agale. Yeah, big up D&D Sound Clash.
Alright. So then in 2002, Life Force Radio, again, Dietrich Romero production, and cats like Kirk Gazelle, True Master, of course, again,
exactly.
Easy Moby, Needles, Domingo, Ayatollah. What's your favorite track on that piece of great music you put out?
On the Life Force Radio album, my favorite track gonna have to be, it's a very hard.
Or the three.
I'm gonna definitely say hip hop. I'm gonna say.
I got a question on hip hop. Like, I heard a version with Sign Super Crew.
On that beat?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think nobody else could handle that beat.
Somebody put it together.
Yeah,
like
I actually performed. No. I never heard of that. But I'm gonna go online and check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
But hip hop, I wanted one track on my album to be kind of like an anthem on the record, something that where everywhere I go and perform, people can get behind. People can just really feel like it's their song too. You know. I got a track on the album called Lyrical Monster, produced by DJ Premier. The beat was just so crazy when he made that, and I watched him make the beat. So it gave me, you know, you have a different feeling when you with the producer and he makes the beat right in front of you. And then I did a track with late great Tina Marie on that album. Again, I'm always a fan of many different types of music, and Tina Marie was to me one of the biggest R&B soul singers that ever came out of America. And I had the beat produced by Domingo, and I had this chorus in my head. Why just love you, baby, love. And I was like, who could really sing that? And just through listening to the music and trying to see who could, I didn't really have no singers that could go there with the vocals like that. But one of my boy from California, he was working with Tina Marie. He linked us together. I flew down there. Yeah, she shot the video, did the song. She was truly professional. So, yeah, definitely on Life Force Radio, hip hop, Lyrical Monster, and Open. You know, Primo, Tina Marie. Yeah, it was just Easy Mo B. It was just madness, you know. That album, I thought it was better than my first album. Other people might beg to differ with me, but you know I'm the artist, so I can think what I want to think, you know. But
it's a different type of view.
Yeah,
like,
it's different.
What you're doing, and like people from the outside.
Yeah,
it's
no doubt.
Kind of different perspective. So despite only using samples, you also got musicians playing on your tracks. At least on Life Force Radio, as I saw. Did you feel restricted by only using samples?
No, I didn't. I think Life Force Radio, I just kind of went in a different zone. People also probably notice each album I go differently. I kind of stay the same Afu-Ra with how I might rap, the feeling that comes from my rapping, but I'm doing it in a different way. I'm choosing different types of beats. Even Primo, he gave me Defeat and Equality, Boulevard. No, not Boulevard. He gave me Equality. well, the tracks he gave me on the first album as compared to the second album, they different, you know. So the artists naturally come up with different formula for rapping and choosing melodies, and at the same time, after the first record, you know, I got a chance to see and experience new different things, get a lot of different feedback. So now I'm going into the second record, I have all of this in my head, whereas the first record, I had nothing in my head, just, yo, you want to do a record? I was like, word, for real? Me do a record? Like, yeah, you do a record. All right. And then the second one, you got all these preconceived ideas, and then that goes into, okay, now I gotta build a record based on that. And I think that's what the differences are, album to album, the beats, and also where I'm at. But also, you have a lot more on your mind as the future progresses. But equally, I had just as much fun and just as much. I put just as much influence into everything and try 150% every track, from choosing the beat to listening to mix to everything. And it's one of the building you as an artist, not so much just as an MC, but it's to really trying to control the quality of the project.
Elevation, excellence.
Yeah, elevation, Life Force Radio.
And like, I think in one track you say, music is the only thing I got.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
you got to give everything for
it.
Do you play any instrument yourself?
No, I don't. I mean, I fool around, maybe banging on the drums a little bit, but just for fun. No, I mean, fortunately, but unfortunately, I always chose to, like, let me keep my head, like, really on how I'm gonna really be better lyrically, because where I started, it's like I can't go back, you know what I mean? So I always try to keep myself, I want to be better lyrically, because that's how people first got into my music. And I always was a little scared if I try to start making beats and I gotta learn how to use MPC or truncate the samples, and then that way that's gonna take me away from what I really do well.
Just off the focus.
Yeah. So I never really, but lately I've been more in with the mix and listening more how to mix the records, and as well as to you know, do some scratches like this, or maybe I bring in a guitar player or a bass player or a horn player, and I can kind of hear the melodies, how I would like the different musicians to play.
And so play like that.
Yeah. Or in the mix, give me more bass on the hi-hat or the kick, or, you know, different things like that. But they try to stay focused on songwriting.
Yeah, but it kind of confuses me that you say you don't do any production, because I think in State of the Arts you produced some tracks.
Yeah, actually I did, but I didn't physically produce them. I kind of more just directed to produce the production, you know.
Like not the executive producer, but the producer sitting in the back like, yeah, do like this.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of was
like
doing like a real executive producer move, because that's what had to happen for that particular track. But yeah, as you'll see in my future works, State of the Arts, even to the next projects, I definitely play as much role I can play. If I can help the producer give my record what I want, then I'm gonna do that without trying to overshadow them at all. You know, these producers like Primo or PF Cuttin or Easy Mo B, he gave me that track for hip hop, and I was like, yo, I hear guitars on this track, even though there's no guitar. He was like, you hear guitars? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a guitar player on this track. He looked at me like, but I respect him, you know. He's a Grammy award-winning producer.
Like he did like
Mac
stuff.
He produced a Miles Davis album. He got a Grammy for Alicia Keys, Tupac. So when I'm telling him that I need this on his beat, at first he kind of fought me a little bit. Like, yo, you. I was like, yo, Mo, I'm telling you, son. And he let me do it, and at the end, I seen him like maybe 8 years later than after we made the record. He saw me in the street and he was like, you want some hip hop? We went out to a club. He was like, yo, my dude. He was like, yo, you the shit, son. Because maybe had I just laid back, not said nothing, I wouldn't have that hip hop record, you know, and it's still one of the biggest records in the club. When I go and do that real Afu-Ra, watch out! The people is right there with me. You want some hip hop? Hell yeah.
Right. So you also did a track with German reggae dancehall artist Gentleman. Very famous.
Yeah.
Like,
woo!
I think around the world, but especially in Europe.
Yeah.
Why Cry? How did you hook up?
Well, I mean, Gentleman, we had met like very, how can you say this, not really seriously meeting, but he was at like one of the summer jams and I was there. At that time I had my 2 albums out and I was there, either I was performing or just hanging out, and we met. And then as I started working on my State of the Arts LP, it was like, whoa, my second album, I always got some type of reggae involvement with, and at that time I was doing a lot of work in Germany. So yeah, Gentleman, he was one of the bigger artists for me. Like, I loved his music. I got all his albums in the crib. I'm singing Gentleman. People are like, who is that? I'm like, yo, you don't know Gentleman? But now they know him, you know what I mean? So he had that beat that Sizzler used with way before Sizzler, you know? Yeah, so again, yeah, I had this track and I didn't know what to do with the track, because the track is in a reggae track. And I just was singing the song in my head, and then somehow I kind of fell into a Gentleman vibe myself. And I was like, I gotta make this happen. And yeah, I just reached out with the help of my label at that time, Decon. And yeah, we searched for Gentleman, searched for his manager. And then as we linked back on the phone, he was like, Afu-Ra. He was like, yo, for sure. He was like, business is business, whatever. But yeah, he loved to do the record. He came all the way to Brooklyn in my ghetto-ass studio with PF Cutting, when we had a big-ass pit bull in the studio. But that didn't shake Gentleman up. He came in, he was like, yo, I was vibing with this on the plane, and just started spitting it out. Everybody's crying out for justice, and everyone is crying out for peace, Mancano. And he's a real serious artist. I big him and respect him so much for just his live performance, to how he writes, how he is a person, his whole crew. Big up to his manager, White Scorpio, Gentleman, the whole crew, you know. He's one of the best artists to me for the 2000s.
Big tunes. So let's jump into the present. Like, I read some stuff on the internet, and it said you were working on a new album with Master Killer. The first single might supposed to be the Pussycat Sound Boy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
a track that you used to be a fan that's been on that mixtape.
It's one of the thoughts. Actually, me and Master Killer, you know, we go back a long time, so we always talk with each other about different ways what we gonna do, you know. So at first I was gonna put out an EP, as I didn't put out an album in a while, and he was like, yo, you got 8 songs you gonna put out, you giving away 1 free, just put 2 more songs on there and it's an album. So I thought about it really, and I was like, okay, put myself in somebody from another city, another country that's not an artist, that's just looking for some hot music. They get my music, they see an EP, they know I got more than that. You know, it's been more than 4 years that I came out with a record. So yeah, on my Twitter, on my Facebook, yeah, I let people know that, yeah, me and Master Killer talking, you know, instead of an EP, I'm gonna come out with the LP. One of the first choices was the Pussycat Soundboy. I got Sadat X on that record, and it's fire. But I'm a strong believer, like, come out with my first single as a collaboration. It could be done, but this record, I don't think it's the first single, you know what I mean? I got some hot stuff. I'm gonna give it to the folks here, you know what I'm saying, at Primat, so they could get it first listen. Maybe they're gonna service it to some of y'all viewers out there, my first single. Maybe the Pussycat Soundboy at the same time. Because I got a lot of heat, and it's like I want to really make a statement no matter what records I put out. And you know, I'm very political in my lyrics, at the same time I'm very spiritual. And the Pussycat is more, very intellectual, but it's a real gangster record. You know what I mean? It's coming from a real street level. So the record will be on my album. My new album is called Voice of a Brooklyn Star. This is the rebirth of Afu-Ra. Look for more projects to come after this. I got artists on there like Sadat X. I got Primo on there. I got P.F. Cutting production by him. I got producers from Germany. I got Guilty Simpson, C. Ray Walls,
Jedi Mind Tricks,
Vinny Paz from Jedi Mind Tricks,
Nine comes again. So, we haven't heard from him like for a long time.
Okay, so and the track I got him on is like a remix of a track I got called Big Boys, where I got like 9 MCs going back to back. It's so fire. Like my boys is like, yo, put that out as a single. I'm like, the people that's really representing for me, they gonna look kind of funny if I put a song out with 7 MCs as my first single. So they gonna have to wait for that or just hear that on the album. But yeah, definitely, like I said, you know, all those collaborations I have on the record, but at the same time, you got at least more than half of the record that's Afu-Ra. Maybe I got some singers on the hooks or some different background vocals. But I really want the album to be like, yeah, this is the thoughts of Afu-Ra. Even if, like, cause you see me do it before on Body Life Force Radio. I done rapped with Kane, and I done rapped with RZA, Jizza, Master Killer. I worked with a lot of great artists, lyricists from singers to producers. But the one thing that people get when they do listen to my music is like, that's Afu-Ra sound. Like, no matter what, who he come with, however he gonna come, who he team up with, I still have my distinct sound and style of music, and I never want to stray from that. I never want you to hear a record like,
who's that?
Yeah, who was that? Even if you do, when you really listen, oh, that's Afu-Ra. He's just flipping in a whole different style, you know what I mean? So that's what the new album is all about. It's all about just continuation, Voice of a Brooklyn Star. I'm concentrating more on, yeah, giving you a different voice quality, at the same time coming with the spine-tingling lyrics, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, jump over the turntables, fly and kick your DJ in the head, and still do something serious on the mic. You know, I still like that, you know, it's just a new way of doing it. So yeah, I went back in the chamber, been touring all around the world for like 6 years, so I went back to Brooklyn, and I got like about 50 tracks right now that I'm setting up for different projects. So the first one, Voice of a Brooklyn Star, look out for that September 1st. We pushing up the release on y'all too. Available everywhere on iTunes, Voice of a Brooklyn Star. It's your boy Afu-Ra right here. Y'all check that shit out, alright? Watch out!
Nice, nice, nice. So let's talk about the things you do besides music. Like you into martial arts and playing chess.
Tell us
something about that, because
yeah, actually,
it's your life.
My boy Master Killer, if he saw that, he'd be like, oh, well, yeah, you need to see me on a chessboard. I've been battling Master Killer for like 20 years. I think I maybe have beat him one time. He might argue that I never beat him. But yeah, I love playing chess, very much into martial arts. In the last year, I've been putting my practicing into Muay Thai kickboxing. It's much different. I come from Taekwondo family. That's my primary art that I love the most. But the Muay Thai kickboxing is more practical, hand-to-hand combat. The training is the exact opposite. As difficult the training is with Taekwondo, Muay Thai is as difficult, but much more brutal on the body, much more wear and tear on the limbs, especially the shins and the elbows. Just much more physical. Taekwondo is more about staying away, it's more about staying at your distance, whereas Muay Thai is really like feel the opponent, trade every blow for the knockout, and like that. Beside that, I'm into all sports, basketball, football. I haven't really been playing too much sports, but I do go to the gym. If I'm on the road or on tour or something like that, I find local sports club. I love the one you got in Germany, the McFit.
McFit?
They have
Germany.
They have top-notch equipment, and you can go train there for like, I think it's like €20 a month. Yeah, you don't find nothing like that in New York. Nowhere in the world, I don't think. Big up to McFit. Maybe I do come do the
sponsorship.
Come do the next commercial for the McFit all over Deutschland. You know what I mean?
So yeah, so you're just trying to keep fit mentally and physically, but you know that stuff like playing chess is good for the brain.
Actually, I once read about some new things called chess boxing. It's where like two guys that go in a ring. They box 4 rounds and then they play chess. You know, it's kind of like that whole concept, like training their mind with it, because you know, after the 4 rounds of boxing, you gotta pretty much be out of it. Then to go sit down and play chess. It's but then vice versa, when you get off the chessboard and then you go boxing, maybe you're thinking more strategical.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big focus on mine. Try my best to keep the physical in tune with the mind and stay active and always be doing something in that field, you know, for the mind and for the body.
When it comes to the body, you're vegetarian, right?
No, I used to be a vegetarian. I was a vegan for like 7 years, but life as a hip hop artist, especially underground hip hop artist, yeah, you gotta eat so much to be really healthy vegan. So I got off the vegan. I don't eat so much flesh, but I do eat chicken. I do eat turkey, fish.
But that's a healthy kind of.
Yeah, you know, everything in moderation, and try not to eat too much meat later in the day, so that my body got time to digest it. And that's what's up. You know, you are what you eat, and I think the body is designed. It can eat most foods. It's just how you eat. Certain combinations of foods or over combinating your foods. The digestive system doesn't know what to do, and we end up with digestive disorders and different things like that. So all y'all out there, you know, if you're going to eat, you know, eat what you want to eat, but just try to simplify your meals, and it definitely promotes longevity in your insides, you know.
Cool message, cool message. Do you have kids?
Yes, I do have children. I have 2 children in New York, a big girl and a big boy, 11 and 10. I also have a small child in Switzerland. She's 3. And I also have a small child in Berlin. She also is 3. And yeah, big them up. It's your boy Afu-Ra, your daddy, right here on TV, watching y'all. Hope y'all watching me. Stay in tune. I love y'all. And yeah, you know, I'm all about family. I'm all about love, passing on what you know to the next generation. And yeah, that's how we're gonna develop the world into a better place, hopefully, you know.
Anything else you want to tell the world, like as a famous last word for this interview?
I mean, we're gonna say something famous for everybody, just to let you know that I'm still on the grind. Afu-Ra, still striving for perfection in music and arts. I'm in relationships with people, trying to be more and more business orientated at the same time, trying to stay grounded as a hip hop artist. But I really need everybody to go out there, look for that new album, new single. It's definitely fire. Body of the Life Force. A new album is called Voice of a Brooklyn Star. Available on iTunes worldwide September 1st. At the same time, you're going to get a glimpse into what I've been doing, who I am even more now through the music. And I think that's what I kind of tap more into with my lyrics and my level of creation, is allowing people to get more personal with me through the music. But they not calling me at my crib, you know what I mean? They just can feel like, okay, food went from this chamber to that chamber, you know. It's like I'm going through different chambers always, and it's my pleasure and my honor to express that right here with y'all, and I want y'all to look out for that. Thank you very much, your boy Afu-Ra, the Body of Life Force. Watch out!
Yep, Primat City TV, Afu-Ra, thank you.
Y'all know, y'all know.